Here with the leadership of the GNSO Council, Heather, let me throw the first question at you. You had an important workshop on Sunday before the ICANN 61 meeting as regards ICANN's policy development process. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. So we have a very important role to play here within ICANN as the GNSO and as the GNSO Council. What the bylaws specifically tell us is that we are responsible for managing policy development as it relates to generic top-level domains, GTLDs. And we do that through a vehicle that we call the policy development process. And what we're noticing is that the PDP is something that is a fairly challenging thing to do. And we're seeing that there are some external and internal impacts on what we do within policy development that could be improved, that could lead us to a position of being more effective and efficient. And we think in light of the FY19 budget and other things happening within the community, that it's an opportune time to talk about these.
So, Rafik, it sounds like you identified these challenges. Were you able to go so far as to find solutions?
So since we started this discussion, is first really to identify what people see as issues and trying to hear from them, and we did that in Sunday. So also we did the kind of exercise with different working group leadership, but also members from the community to explore more solution and to try to find more ideas. So from there we will try to work on a proposal and see how we can do things better. So we started that kind of brainstorming exercise.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is you were kind of searching outside the box. What are some things that people may not have thought of previously that might help us deal with these issues, right?
Yes, I mean, the idea is to see what maybe we have tools existing that we should use them, but also to explore what we can do more, or what we can improve, what area that we should focus. So hearing from those who are kind of practicing those working group, we have a better idea from our side as the council how we can help them and what kind of solution that we can propose, but it's kind of community-driven work.
Donna, what are the next steps? So you had this, it sounds like a productive workshop. Where do you go from here? What's next?
So I think our intention is that we will gather all the input. So we broke out into 4, breakout sessions. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of input. We need to take that back and work through it, try to establish if there's any low-hanging fruit that we can potentially work on. We're very encouraged today that one of the leaders of one of the PDP working groups has already started to think about, what can his team possibly do to provide efficiencies in his working group. So some of this is council can look at what we can do and take to the, what we can do as low-hanging fruit, what needs a little bit more work. But it's also, we've encouraged the PDP working groups themselves to think about ways that they can potentially improve the way that they're working and, become more efficient, hit the targets that they've set themselves. So, it's a bit of a combination of where the next steps go.
What did the working group come at you with? I mean, you were able to identify it sounds like a very symbiotic relationship, right?
Right. Yeah, so I think what they intend to try is, I think we've lost sight of the overall idea of what a PDP is supposed to be about. So we talk a lot about multi-stakeholder, working towards consensus. So I think the intent is that the working group leadership team will try to bring their participants back to best efforts to work towards consensus. That's the first thing. And then also get some kind of commitment from the individuals or the participants to fully engage in the discussion, and if they can't, then maybe they should step back to observer. So I think that's kind of where what's in their mind is what they could potentially try, as a first step.
Heather, let me ask you. Donna had mentioned the low-hanging fruit. In terms of you guys working out this prioritization, are you yet able, or I realize you're still digesting what came at you in your interactions on Sunday, are you able to yet identify what some of those priorities are?
I'm not sure that we're at that position yet,
Okay.
and the reason for that is we've only just wound up our March council meeting, our GNSO council meeting, and received yet more input into that. As Donna's mentioned, we're already seeing the if I can use the word fruits in a different sense. We're already seeing the fruits of Sunday come out with some proposals being raised at the microphone in our GNSO council meeting that's only just ended, and so I think. If I can suggest, it's going to take us a little bit of time to go back and have a look at things. One of the fantastic benefits that's come out of Sunday is that we had so much input. There was always a risk that we bring the community together to talk about these things, and there's either a fear of raising challenges or a fear of the perception of raising challenges. And in fact, the community has embraced the opportunity. So we have an abundance of riches at this point, and that encourages me in a sense that I think when we are able to sit down and do this, we'll come up with quite a bit of substance. And what we're seeing, at least in initial phases, is ideas around how do we handle PDP memberships that are into 1 and 200 people? How do we effectively channel participation in groups of that size? How do we lead groups of that size?
Yeah.
And to the extent that the PDP leadership teams can respond with their own ideas to that, we're very conscious of the fact that PDPs are not one and the same. Let's say we have 5 active PDPs right now. Each one has a different set of challenges and tasks ahead. We've certainly identified things that, as I said, the size of groups, things that are common to all the groups, but even then how they deal with those challenges is going to be slightly nuanced depending on the particular PDP.
It sounds like what I'm picking up from you is it sounds like identifying defining these issues and redefining some of them sounds like sounds like a major plus for you guys.
Very much so. One of the things to appreciate is the GNSO is a very, very diverse community. We of course say that so often that I can understand that it would be perhaps seen as just saying that again and the meaning not sink in. But as you say, a very key task for this group is just coming to agreement as to what the challenges are. And we're in a special situation here in that this is nothing new. The things we're talking about now, it's not as if these challenges have appeared overnight. What we are seeing is a willingness to talk about them and a willingness to recognize that they exist. And that really and truly is the first step to doing something about it. And make no mistake, we're not just talking about things, we're looking for action, and we very much hope to see some of these suggestions bearing out before we even get to ICANN 62.
Sounds amazingly productive. I want to thank all 3 of you for taking the time. This is great.